Exorcist Believer is out now, guys. The most anticipated horror movie of the October season. Maybe. I don't know. Was it? The Exorcist Believer is a new trilogy planned out by Jason Blum, right? Directed by David Gordon Green. When two girls disappear into the woods and return 3 days later with no memory of what happened to them, the father of one girl seeks out Chris McNeil, who's been forever altered by what happened to her daughter 50 years ago. Yeah. So, the cast. Ellen Burstyn returns in this role, and that was kind of fun to see that. But the standout here is Leslie Odom Jr. And I said that in my straight out of the theater reaction. Good actor, and I want to see a lot more from him. Ann Dowd was in this. It got hokey at times with Ann Dowd's character. Linda Blair is being credited here. And guys, if this is a movie that you're going to be waiting for streaming services, and which I said that you should do in my straight out of the theatrical reaction, was that it's long. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes. Sorry, an hour and 50 minutes, just under 2 hours. And you're going to feel that for the first hour. You'll be like, wait, nobody's possessed yet? What's going on here? And then it gets, if you like the movie Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi movie, where you like people with all the makeup on and acting weird and stuff like that, then the last act is going to be probably for you. It just takes a while to get there. There's some interesting ideas in there, but yeah, the girls go off and they go missing, and it's kind of like they're doing some kind of a ritual thing in the forest. And then they show up and here's what I said. You remember in the first Exorcist where you got to see the father being skeptical about it and stuff like that, and the church really doesn't like to do this kind of thing. And then we saw, like, you know, like the thought process behind all of that stuff. They tried to do that a little bit here towards the end. But what it made me feel and want to do is go watch movies like, actually, The Nun 2 covered this stuff better. The Pope's Exorcist covered this kind of material, this angle, much better than this movie did. So it does have some script issues, and there's no getting away from that. I can't say that it doesn't. How does it look cinematically? I'd say it's somewhat competently shot, but we've seen it in the trailers when one of the girls starts to like freak out in the church. And yeah, they try to go back to that, oh, she's doing something gross to herself, like Reagan did, right? It just felt like a copycat, and that's not what you want to have, right? That's not, you don't want to rinse and repeat. It's nice to play homage, but I don't believe it. I didn't believe this Exorcist Believer. And I don't know why it's called Believer, by the way. It's just call it The Exorcist. And so yeah, when she's walking in here and she's like screaming, his blood and his flesh, his blood and his flesh. It's kind of like, would everybody just be standing there watching this little girl with what appears to be blood on her, screaming this? Would they really be just sitting there going, are we going to get out of here in time to watch the football game? And then, yeah, the hokiness towards the end. The acting, I think, was there. They did a good job in casting the girls to do it. But it's kind of like, did I miss something in here? That's what it felt like. I felt like I missed, like they shot a part of the story that didn't make the final cut. And you see things happening. And yeah, Leslie Odom Jr., he brings it all. But it's kind of like you got this Wiccan earth person here helping with the exorcism. They do neck twisting and stuff like that. So if that's what you're looking for, it's kind of like it's sort of there, but it's not really all quite there. So what am I thinking about this in trying to set this up for score? Acting, the acting, Leslie Odom Jr. He brought it. There's at least one good performance in there. So out of that, I would say yeah, 1.5. But the story is so bland and generic. I gotta. There's some bold ideas in there by bringing in the Earth person, the Wiccan sort of person, and just to have the normal pastor in there as well. It was interesting, but this movie fails in its directing, and it's hard not to. It's hard not to be critical of this. It's not, because you're just like, if this was in the better hands, in someone's better hands, it would have worked a whole lot better. And they try to save the theme in there, the Exorcist theme. And this is directing choices. Where to use the music? How am I setting up the shots? How am I putting this story together? I just felt like it didn't deliver, because, as you can see there towards the end, they do try to set up some stuff where it's like, okay, there's some trauma in the father-daughter relationship here. There's some trauma there. Where's the mother? They do explain that stuff. But it doesn't feel like it comes around full circle to complete the story arc. It's just a weak attempt. But the elements are there. Sort of, it's just not well put up on the screen. It's not. And is the scare factor there? Is it scary? This movie, if you want to look up a definition for jump scares, this is it. It does. Those jump scares do get you, but any kind of loud noise and an unexpected time will make you jump. So there you go. That's what you're going to get. Jump scares, and these girls at times going, oh. It's like, for God's sakes. For God's sakes. That's all I was saying through this. So I'm not going to ramble on and on about this. What are people saying about this? Let's go take a look at the tomato meter. Oh, whoa, 20%. Now, obviously, you've seen from my early scoring here, I'm a little bit higher than 20%. They're being a little bit harsh on this. We don't have quite some audience score just yet, but it's 10:40 in the morning on Friday. So, yeah. Let's see what some of the snapshot reviews are saying. ABC News. William Friedkin's original 1973 take on demonic possession was thrilling too much. This sorry sequel from David Gordon Green is boringly too little. Believe this. If you tell the marketing devils lure you into this one, you're in for an unholy mess. Though Green tries all types of terror tactics, from sudden jump cuts, yeah, I talked about that, to graphic gore, there isn't a single scare in the entire 121-minute movie. Yeah, there's nothing in here that'll make you go, like, worried to go to sleep without the lights on at night. It's just not one of those experiences. It's just like, it's there. Is it passable? Would you say that it's passable? No. Let's take a look at somebody who did like it. Wall Street Journal. Successfully stringing together shocking, disgusting, and terrifying moments counts as a solid day's work for most horror directors. And since The Exorcist Believer achieves all that it's competent enough, but I expected better from Mr. Green. So even somebody who liked it is calling out the directing here. And it's hard not to. It's really hard not to. So as you can see, it's not that great of a movie. And I said it in my straight out of the theater reaction. Guys, I'm a horror fan. So of course, it takes a lot to scare me. But I just like to be immersed in that horror world, in that ambiance. It was hard at times to get immersed into it because some silly stuff happens where you're just like, yeah, I shouldn't be laughing at this. I really shouldn't. But you are, and it's kind of like, that's just lack in execution. So let's finish up my ranking of this, and we'll cut bait of this film because I don't think it's going to fare well at the box office. Score was there. I'm going to leave that at 0.5 because it was, cinematography is out of 1. Cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point each. So that's 0.5. Sorry. Acting, directing, and story and watchability are out of a possible 2 points each. Watchability factor. Score, yeah. The music, when it does play, it's nice to hear. Cinematography let this one down too. Watchability factor. If you're a fan of the Exorcist franchise, you'll be checking this out regardless. If you're for some reason a fan of David Gordon Green, I guess you'll be checking this out. If you want to see, if you're curious to see if they work Linda Blair back into this movie somehow, you'll want to check this out. But expect this. If you're expecting to see Linda Blair in this, expect it on a TV screen somewhere or a picture. That's what I would tell you. Does it have a payoff a little bit with it? Perhaps. It does have some Easter eggs and throwbacks to the first movie, but it's just like that's not enough. And it has really nothing to do with what the story is for this movie. So 4.5 out of 10 for The Exorcist Believer. That feels about right. And I think that's a generous 4.5 because you saw the critics were 2 out of 10. And it's like, yeah, not a good movie. Not a good experience. And I looked for all the good things. I told you the good things. Leslie Odom Jr., good actor. I want to see more from him. He's somewhat of a kindred spirit, I would say. I noticed something about him while I was watching it. And very few people have the same qualities. So it's cool when I see people with the same attributes, if you know what I mean. Cool. Anyway, yeah, there you go. Guys, what did you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, if you like this kind of thing, do you know that we do a movie news live show throughout the week? Mondays and Fridays are confirmed that we do. And we talk about all these trending movie news headlines. What else can you find? We do full movie reactions for The Wishmaster. That's up on the channel right now. What did I say is better, The Wishmaster or Exorcist Believer? Wishmaster. The creator reviews up on the channel. Saw 10 and Saw 10 right now, guys. If you want to see a good horror movie this weekend, skip Exorcist Believers, go watch Saw 10. We're watching Survivor right now up on the channel. We just wrapped up Ahsoka, and that was fun. We do writing sessions like I wrote a treatment outline script for what my version of what a Friday the 13th reboot would be. We're watching Hell's Kitchen, and of course then we do movie news here. So hey, if you like that kind of stuff, you like this kind of stuff, you like talking about movies, you like talking about series, you're gonna like it here on the channel Mirror Domains. All right, guys, that's it. Hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. All right, let's take some live comments here. Artglass says, perhaps The Exorcist is expected to do well as the horror genre is notorious for having low expectations but high volume of fans wanting a scare or two around Halloween. Yeah, now here's the thing too. If you're like a religious person and you believe in God and the devil and stuff like that, yeah, I could see that some of this, but just thematically would be disturbing to you. But they don't really go into all of that lore. They don't talk about that much. It just left me frustrated. Hopefully that is the worst movie of the year out of the way. So the only way up is the only way up is up from here. Yeah, fingers crossed.